You ready? You're a wolf chasing a rabbit, but the chase has just begun. You can run to the horizon, but you'll never catch the sun. Rabbit ran into the lion's den, and now the wolf is done. Now you're looking for your gun, and she said, run.
Run, run, tables turning, now we see that you're the one. It ain't no fun. Run, 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 run. It ain't no fun.
You can run to the horizon, but you'll never catch the sun. Rabbit ran into the lion's den, and now the wolf is done.
When the rabbit's got the gun.
I told you.
What up, what up? Mike here. I am your host, creator, author, illustrator of all things Rabbit Comics. I'm joined here, as usual, by my beautiful co-host, La. What up, La?
What's up?
How you doing today?
Doing
We
good.
got the twin Savu hats on today, if you see that. Yeah. So if you're unfamiliar with the Department Files, what we do is, I wonder if that's going to be... I wonder if you're going to be able to hear that.
I'm pretty sure.
If you're unfamiliar with the Department Files, it's a book that I wrote, but it's also obviously the name of the podcast. But essentially, what we do is Law goes through the book. She chooses a character that I've created, and we just talk about that character. She asks me questions about lore, history, backstory, how they relate to each other in the world, whether or not they have any romantic interests, etc. Whatever comes to her mind, we just talk about it. So it's just a way to introduce folks to my brand new world of Rabbit that I'm creating. And if you would like to follow along, the books are always available on Amazon. You can also, if you're in the Phoenix area, get them at the Retail Therapy Market Convention Center location, which is downtown. And yeah. Thank you for your support.
Get into it.
This is episode 8.
8.
Episode 8. All right, let's go.
You ready? You're a wolf chasing a rabbit, but the chase has just begun. You can run to the horizon, but you'll never catch the sun. Rabbit ran into the lion's den, and now the wolf is done. Now you're looking for your gun, and she said, run.
Run, run, tables turning, now we see that you're the one.
All right. We're doing
Who do we have today?
the eel.
Mm-hmm.
And here's another one where I definitely love the costume choices.
You like his costume?
I mean, if I would know, I would think you were like a fashion designer or something, but I digress.
I am a fashion designer. That's funny you should mention.
So, yeah, he's got some really cool powers. So you can just explain like how that is, because how you come up with powers is a lot different than other comics. They're a little bit, I mean, it'd be something similar, but there's always these different details.
There's always a level that's like
Yeah.
a little bit different. And that's just because I say this all the time, but it's, I just always try to find like unique ways to reinvent the wheel. Comic book characters are not new. Graphic novels are not new. I mean, mythology isn't new. Greek mythology, African mythology. I mean, the list goes on. So just trying to figure out new and innovative ways to kind of like do essentially the same stuff is challenging, but it makes it fun for me because then I end up with these characters who are like extremely unique, and I have not heard of some of the power sets that I've created personally, which is a good thing. It means that I'm like, they're very unique. There may be one or two things. It's like, yes, I've heard of characters who have electric ability. So the eel, his primary ability is that he generates bioelectricity, and then he can discharge that bioelectricity. Right? We've seen characters like that. Where he is a little bit different is that he absorbs, like just passively absorbs ambient energy, just being alive. And so his ability, his body and the cells in his body, he's basically like a battery. And so he's just always holding this energy, and he can discharge it however he pleases. He can also, he's very I don't want to keep saying unique, but in my opinion, he's unique because he can use his bioelectricity to reanimate a corpse and then control it because he can control. So, like, I've never heard. I mean, like, you definitely have heard of characters that can like resurrect the dead or like control a corpse, but in this way, in this specific manner,
Right.
because that's what our bodies run off of anyway. Like all
Mm-hmm.
humans generate electricity. Devin generates quite a bit more. I mean, probably than anybody, any real person alive for sure. He can also, obviously he can fly, by just discharging or supercharging the air around him and then forcing it like out behind himself. So like that's how he can fly. He doesn't use that ability a lot, but he's also because of his ability, he has an immunity to most like terrestrial like diseases and
Mm.
infection. The way that I explain that is just that his body is just so charged up that like most things that that aren't of his body would just die
Mm-hmm.
inside of him because it's just too much power, too much energy. Also,
So
like
he not getting no common cold or nothing like that.
definitely not getting a common cold. No, he can still be. There are still things that he's susceptible to, and that's just where I create the balance because I don't. We talked about this in I think it was the last episode. I don't particularly care for it's not that I don't care for, but I try to create more balance than to have like a god level being who like nothing can affect. Nobody can like the average person couldn't.
Right.
Like I try my best not to like have that, or have as little of that as possible. Sorry, I feel like I got something in my eye, so I keep messing with my eye if you're watching at home. But anyway, so he's also immune to extreme heat and lightning. I mean, which makes sense. I mean, his body is basically that anyway. And he can
So he should get like overloaded if he was to.
he can't be overloaded.
So it just kind of like cancels out.
He will just discharge it. His body will just naturally discharge.
Oh, okay.
If his cells take on more than what they can, they'll just let it go, and so it'll just kind of like come out as like EMP waves like through the ground.
Like
And so
metabolizing.
in that way, he can like communicate. He could like send a shockwave across the street and blow your car tires out,
Mm-hmm.
right? Without there being a physical bolt that you see. It's just traveling through whatever conduit that's available to it. And so in that way, he's unique because a lot of characters like this, that's exactly what happens. It's just give him much more energy than his body can handle, and then boom, you knock him out or he blows up or whatever, and it's like, that's kind of too easy for me. So he can't be overloaded. He functions. He's a bio organic battery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and because because his cells have such a limit, it would be hard to overload him anyway. But even if as you would approach overload limit, whatever that would be with him, his body would then just like as he's taking in energy, he's releasing energy too.
Mm-hmm.
To kind of like you said, balance it out so that he's never it's kind of like how our bodies naturally balance out like I think it's the salinity of like salt.
So basically, like metabolizing certain things.
And it's just like it just keeps it even so that you don't have too much of it or too little of it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then he does have a cool suit, and if I'm correct, this is like a somebody else that has the same type of suit. What it's made out of, right?
Yeah. So a lot of characters in my universe, it's like a callback to Amun, Dr. Gamal,
Yeah, that's right.
because he's the one that creates. He came up with this material for these cosmic level beings who have these abilities, and the material because I mean any normal material would just fry instantly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So his suit, but also his regular clothes are made from this like unstable molecule type of material. Is just what I call
So it
it,
can withstand
and
the
it's just with
different powers.
exactly. So like if he discharges, he's not like all of a sudden naked or like in the middle of the street like like now I don't have underwear on.
Right.
Right, like so. His clothes are most of his clothes, especially. I mean, he does have like regular clothes too, but his suit that you're referring to, the black and the red, it's a grounder. So he can take on even more energy because the panels are like this metal-ish material that sort of ground his ability so that if he needs to focus it or like discharge like a very, very large amount of energy, he already has a grounder built in.
And
into
it
the
just
suit.
gives him control in how to deliver it.
Controlling how to deliver it, and also so that he can focus on a particular
Target.
exactly.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Cool. And then obviously the eel that came from.
Yeah, no, that was just so the eel is not something that he calls himself. That's just like what people call him because of his electric eel. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It was just like but I felt like it would be kind of corny if he walked around calling himself that.
Right.
Because it's
So
just
it's a
kind of like too
given
on the
moniker.
nose. Yeah, so that's just what it's just kind of what people call him. So yeah,
And then he has a relationship with another character that I
yeah,
can't wait to read about because
yeah.
she's
White
interesting.
Star. Um, yes, he's in a relationship with White Star, which complicates his position on Seven because she doesn't even know how high up. She knows he's a part of. She knows that he has an affiliation with Cyrus. She doesn't know exactly what it is,
Mm-hmm.
and she doesn't realize that he's actually he's like a general of the founding seven. Um, but also the founding seven doesn't really know that he's dating White Star.
And she's from the Resistance, right?
She's not necessarily from the Resistance. She's kind of like my wild card, one of my wild card
Okay.
characters that I refer to as, and it's really because I'm playing with the notion of good and bad. None of my characters are explicitly good or explicitly bad. Actually, that's probably not true. Stone Guardian is explicitly good. He's like my Clark Kent, I guess. Like he
Okay.
is like a
The
good
moral
guy.
compass.
Yeah, exactly. And I think probably Echo is like that too. She's a good guy, right? Like there's no blurred lines. But most of my characters are like it's very circumstantial, but it's just like humans, right? It's just like us. It's like naturally, like none of us. Like I don't think that I'm bad. I don't think I'm a bad person, but I have definitely made choices that I know I should not have made. You know what I mean? And I
Right.
made them anyway, right? Like fully knowing the consequences. And so, you strive to be as good as you can, but I mean, such is life. You don't always do the right thing. And so I say that to say he is Devin Moretti. That's his real name, by the way. Devin is he's in a relationship with White Star. It's complicated because she's also not always on the side of what's right, and that's highly due to the fact that like she's dating him, and so there's a lot of things that like she just goes along with because I mean, what you gonna do? Like this is your boyfriend,
Yeah.
so it's like I guess I'll just go
Ride or
along with that.
die.
Yeah, exactly. Even though she might not necessarily agree. I mean, there's definitely going to be moments that I've kind of like conjured up in my mind where I'm like, okay, like she's definitely going to take a stand on certain things, but also
But you called it dysfunctional, the
it's
relationship.
dysfunctional for sure. I mean, imagine Wonder Woman dating the Joker.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's dysfunctional. He's a bad guy. He's a part of Devin Moretti is not a good guy. He's not totally bad, right? Like I said, everybody blurs the line, but he is for sure a villain, right? Like he's on the side of Cyrus. He's on the side. He's one of the seven. He's not just in the department. He's one of the seven. Like the triplets, excuse me. They're just like tertiary characters within the department.
Mm-hmm.
He's a seated member of the seven.
Yeah.
So that's like I don't know, the Justice League of Evil, like right, like it's like he's bad. He's a villain character,
Mm-hmm.
and he's written as a villain character, but he doesn't always do villain character
Thing.
stuff
Yeah.
because of his affiliation with White Star and her influence, and so there's just like a little bit of like pull, and it's dysfunctional because they're both hiding the fact that they're
Stuff from
dating each other
Yeah.
from the other side. You know what I mean? So it's like that. You're not supposed to be like, what are you doing?
And then he's not telling her his full involvement.
Exactly.
With
She doesn't know he's a seated member, which would maybe change things for her. The members of the seven don't really know that he's dealing with her. They know that that there's history, obviously, but they don't know like they're damn near like I'm writing them like Gene and Scott,
Mm-hmm.
essentially, as far as like the relationship is concerned. they are together. It's not even a question. So it's like it's not. There's no ambiguity to it. It's like they are a couple, bona fide, have been together. That's her man. That's his woman. And so it creates dysfunction because they're not going to break up. So it's like, well, what you gonna do?
Exactly.
Like you gotta, they just gotta figure it out, and it's very weird. And so it's going to be, and I think it creates an interesting way to tell a story because it's like you could do so much with. It's like he's a bad guy. She's not necessarily a bad guy, leaning more towards good guy,
It still has that influence.
and she doesn't know his level of involvement. So she's thinking, oh, I can just he's just a part of the department. Maybe he just likes what they say. She's thinking that somebody just sold him a dream and she can maybe change his mind or like pull him out of it, not realizing he's one of the people selling the dream. Like he is one of the generals.
Right.
And so yeah, it's just a really cool it's a cool story. She's also not an idiot. So at some point, there is I'm gonna definitely write it that comes out, but like in the beginning, like where the readers are introduced, it's at a point in their relationship where that information is not known.
And now in your comic world, like in other ones, there's either like an event that happens that causes everybody to have certain powers, different powers. So is there something that, or they're just born with it? Like what is,
Like
how did
how are
yours get
they?
it? Yeah. Or is it all different for each character?
That's it. Yeah. So the way that I explain it, and the reason why I've said cosmic a few times in some of these episodes is because their powers are natural, but not like the mutants in X-Men, because there's also natural, but that's caused by a mutation. There's like something wrong essentially that then develops into these, in some cases, really cool powers. In some cases, they're like really deformed and disfigured looking. The abilities, my character's abilities are all cosmic based. And that is because I, in real life, have this affinity towards just our universe and just like the galaxy and like the fact that like um the same elements that make up our body make up a star. That's a fact. At least I think it's a fact because I got that from Neil deGrasse Tyson. So it better be a fact because if it's not a fact,
we'll display if it's
right.
a fact or not for real later.
But I know it's a fact. But anyway, the same elements are inside of us, and so I just think that like these bodies, these celestial bodies that will never. I mean, you and I will never never say never, but it's highly likely that neither one of us are going to become astronauts and like fly to space, right? Like we'll never see a star. We'll never see like up close. I mean, from Earth, yes, but we'll never be in upper orbit. We'll never be, And so I just always wondered, like, what would it be like if there were beings that walk around who have these sort of cosmic abilities that appear naturally, and that there is fire that burns without oxygen somewhere in the universe, or some fire type thing, right? That's where I get glacier. There is electricity that is produced outside of this planet. There are planets that rain diamonds and I think it's hydrogen instead of H2O. It rains not hydrogen, nitrogen. I think. I think. But yeah, there's all this like, I'm gonna say odd, but I mean cool things that occur in our universe, and I just thought, well, how cool would that be if there were characters whose abilities were kind of just naturally given to them, in the same way that you and I can breathe oxygen because our bodies are designed with lungs to process and push and pull. Like, what if there was some character whose body was designed with some function that allows them their cells to just be batteries and supercharge electricity and or access psionically the ability to like move wind, or like I just think it would just be.
But they're from Earth though, so I think that's the cool part, to have these cosmically charged powers that are more natural, but be from Earth.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, Earth is cosmic. We like to
True.
and I know we're deviating a lot from the eel, but we do like to separate as human beings. We like to separate ourselves from the natural world, which is so interesting to me. It's like you're a natural being, and the same with people. So I want to reconnect with nature. You are nature.
Mm-hmm.
You're a part of nature. You are going out into maybe the woods, or we don't necessarily live in natural environments. Not all of us. Some of us do, but you're just as natural as any plant. You are just as natural as anything on this
Mm-hmm.
planet, And so to me, it's just like they're from Earth, but it's still called Earth is our planet is also a celestial body, right? If we were on Jupiter looking at Earth,
Mm-hmm.
we would have the same reverence for Earth that we have for all of our other planets. It's just
Right.
that we
It's
happen to
just
be on
another
this one.
planet.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. And so it's like, well, yeah, they're born here on Earth, but I mean, so what? Earth is floating through space, and Earth is just as much part
Rotating on an
of
axis.
our galaxy and rotates on an axis and circles the sun just like every other planet. And so,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's just a way to kind of offer, and then also it makes it so that anybody can have these abilities, and you don't necessarily need to get bitten by a spider, or you don't necessarily, you know what I mean? It's just like
Mm-hmm.
it just automatically, it's like some are born with it, and because Earth, it's also diverse. There are folks in my universe who don't have powers. They're just not born with them. They just their body didn't get that right. In the
Mm-hmm.
same way that like I don't have ovaries. You know what I mean? Like some bodies get some things and other bodies get other things,
Right.
and so that's that's why so that's where the sort of the I mean I know it's a long winded sort of convoluted answer to any of the
Makes sense though.
listeners. Hopefully you're enjoying this this conversation, but yeah, that's just where it comes from for me, and to me, I'm excited to keep writing because it's cosmic, it's endless.
Yeah.
I can just I can have characters pop up until I'm no longer able to hold a pen and draw. I will be doing this because it's just cool to me, and I really push myself to the limit to see like how interesting I can make characters and how different I can make them from characters that already exist. And it's funny that like human um ingenuity, invention, intelligence,
Imagination.
imagination
Mm-hmm.
is if you have a thought, a lot of other people have that same thought. And so it's interesting that like and I don't have an example of a character right now just because we're just off the cuff talking about this, but I have there's other shows that I watch like Comics Explained or like Top 10 Nerd on YouTube, and they'll be talking about a character, and I'm like, I have a character that does that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like I didn't know about this person. I didn't know that this somebody wrote this character and drew this character. And it's just like the fact that I was able to come up with independent of
Mm-hmm.
influence and just trying to think outside the box. Like, okay, well, how can somebody control electricity in a way that's different than any other character that I've seen control
Mm-hmm.
electricity? And then just forces you to kind of like, okay.
Keep
Well, maybe
expounding on it.
exactly. Maybe it's
Mm-hmm.
more EMP based. Maybe and because his is comet based electricity, so then his electricity doesn't necessarily follow the laws of physics in the same way that Glacier's fire doesn't follow the law of physics, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, and then you can at that point it's like, okay, so now he's not restricted to how electricity behaves on Earth naturally.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you have a character who can now animate a corpse from across the street, right? Because electricity doesn't work like that,
Right.
right? But it
But
does
today it is.
right, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
And I have one more question because his intelligence is on the higher on the scale. It's a 7. So with your characters, and especially the eel, like what does the intelligence play into? Is that as far as them being part of the leadership in the department, or does it aid in like their physical powers?
I would say both. I would say that the on the his intelligence is just due to the fact that he is So the way that and this is where, so just walk with me because my brain is very, I'm probably
We walk.
autistic, right? Like, so this is where, and no offense to anybody that actually is autistic. I mean that in like the best
Yeah.
case scenario possible way imaginable. But so our brains run on electric. Our entire body generates electricity, and we are firing off neurons, and like this all happens using electricity, right? Like not like I mean, we're not firing off bolts of lightning, but it's something to do with like the salt, the water, the electricity in our brains. And so because his body generates so much electricity, in my sort of weird way of explaining it, he can then fire off that many more neurons that much more fast. He can learn things quicker.
Mm-hmm.
He has a um, a higher threshold to retain information.
Yeah.
And it's because of the way that like electricity behaves inside of his body, and so it's just like a supercomputer, like more power,
Yeah.
And so he's not genius level on the. He's not like a moon whose power is his intelligence. So that pushes him over the edge as far as intelligence is concerned.
But his
But
powers do aid in him having a
exactly
higher intelligence.
exactly,
That's dope.
and because he has a higher intelligence, he has a higher win percentage against an opponent because he's using his intelligence in battle in the same way that like
strategy and all that.
exactly strategizing. He's a he's a tactician, right? Like, and so that is kind of like where it comes into play with like his superpowers. But that's how I explain it away. Is like he's very smart because he just has more, like your computer. If your computer had access to, if your computer could hold more data, your computer is better than mine that holds less data, right? Like it's faster, it's quicker, it has a higher processing, rate, like it's just, or processor. And so that's how I think about his brain because of what his electricity can do in his body. And I know that that's kind of convoluted, but it's comic book, so who cares? You know what I mean?
It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, hold on, let me get these powers so I can increase my intelligence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I got for him.
That's it.
That was a good.
That was good. So let me ask you, what's your favorite thing about Devin Moretti, the eel?
Well, now that I have a better understanding of it, is it definitely how the powers increase his ability to learn more, have a higher IQ just because of that. Because I can't even think of one that does that in the outside comic world or
with the electric-based power specifically.
To aid in the intelligence part. Yeah. So that, and of course, like I always like the costumes. A different spin on a classic, bodysuit look.
It's hard. Exactly, they're all bodysuits, so it's like it's hard to like come up with something different. But that's also why I drew some of my characters. A lot of my characters are street clothes because I'm just like, what else? I mean, I could come up with all types of costumes, but that's what's been difficult, honestly, for me.
Yeah, but I like having both. You see the person, and then you see the superhero.
Yeah, how to get down. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Thank you. Well, this was another fantastic episode. If you would like to follow along, as always, you can purchase the books on Amazon. And if you're in the Phoenix area, Arizona area, at the Retail Therapy Market Convention Center location downtown, I'm gonna have to close the window.
Everybody bringing the trucks out.
I'm gonna have to close the window. That was so loud. Like, what are you even driving? I hate when people drive like that too. Like, what are you doing? Get a catalytic converter. Please cut it out. Anyway, buy my books. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.